before you try it yourself, I'm going to talk you through one solution. This isn't the most efficient solution, but it is one solution which shows the strategy to take. And as I said, it's going to take a bit of patience. So I begin with rook to d1, and from there the king chooses to get close. I'm going to need my white king in this as well, so I'm going to start bringing that into the game. And if I use my rook and king together side by side, then neither can be captured because the king has that ability to protect one square any side of it. So I'm going to try to begin to close the box for the black king. So at the moment, the box for the black king is this rectangle here. So he's got a 4 by 5 square, which is 20 squares, I suppose, to move in if I remain there, because the rook closes off this row and it closes off this column by being there. The rook is also protected by the king. So every time the king moves closer to the edge, I'm going to try to close that box. So now I've reduced it to a 3 by 5 box, which is a 15 square box. And I'm going to continue to do that at any opportunity I have. So he's now closed himself into a smaller box. I'm going to keep on taking opportunities to close that. I haven't really checked him yet. I know where he can go. I know where he can't go. So we've gone from a 20 square box to now he only has 1, 2, 3 squares to move into. So we're going to keep on limiting that now for him. We also have to be very careful of a stalemate situation here. So if the king has no square to go to, he's not being attacked, he's not being checked, that's a stalemate. So we must always make sure he has at least 2 boxes to go to if he's not being checked. And that's checkmate. So going back to the start position again, that took 29 moves altogether. So it does take a lot of patience. If we go back to the start position, set this board up yourself, decide who's black and who's white, and give it a go. Okay, as always with these games, we want to find the most efficient solution. So the quickest solution is almost always the best solution. So I believe I can find it in 17 moves. 17 moves, and here is the solution. So it begins with the king moving to f2. And it uses a similar principle of the king and rook remaining close together, protecting each other, and slowly limiting where the black king can move to. So by remaining close together, they're protecting each other. Well, the king is protecting the rook, and all the while we're limiting the area the king can move to. So we're constantly narrowing down where the king can go to. And it's very similar to the previous solution. We're forcing the king towards the corner. We're buying some time. So that move there mightn't seem so obvious to move the rook far away, but it's because we know that the king only has these 2 squares to play in. So if I just buy some time by moving away, he can't move to this line because of the rook, he can't move to this line because of the king, he has to go to the corner, and that's when checkmate is inevitable. So to quickly sum up, this type of checkmate might seem quite boring and tedious to do, but if you get to a situation where you are a rook up and you can trade off queens, you can trade off other pieces, you can get to a situation perhaps where you're king and rook versus the lone king, and you need to be able to checkmate in the situation as well.